Let's rank all the championship managers then for the upcoming season. Obviously, 24 to go through. I'd say the first three, I've not seen anything from them really, so I can't really judge them. So it's kind of a case of just, I'll wait and see over the next few weeks how they gel. But starting off with 24th position, we're going to go for Cesar Piexato at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Obviously, drop points against Blackburn, opening game of the season at home. You kind of expect them just to dominate that game and win 3-0. And as I said, I don't have any prior knowledge other than checking his Wikipedia. And it's a bit of time at Gil Vicente. And do you know what I mean? I just don't quite get why they got rid of Rob Edwards, who would guarantee you minimum top three for an unknown quantity. Then again, for Burnley, same situation, getting rid of Scott Parker and bringing in Neki Hayen, who I've got no knowledge of, and it's quite a big gamble. That's the thing with these. It could go really well, and they could end up winning the league, but in my opinion, just can't judge them, so I've put him 23rd. Then in 22nd, we've got Watford's Alessio Dionisi. I don't know, again, much about him. He's got a slightly better career than the other two throughout his time in football, but again, it's an unknown quantity, so that's, as I said, just kind of ignore the bottom three. But let's go into the next one, which I can actually judge, and I have seen manage, and it is Chris Davis at Birmingham City. A lot of people are going to hate me for this, but I cannot understand why Birmingham haven't gone for somebody else, because he is holding back that club with the resources and with the players that they have. I do feel that they should be doing a lot better. Maybe this is now he's had a pre-season with his new squad, because there has been a lot of turnover from League One, of course, and they did do well in League One with him, of course, so that's another thing you got to consider. So, yeah, I think for me, until he proves me otherwise, I'm going to put him in 21st. Then in 20th, we actually have two managers in Chris Cohen and Tom Shaw. Not really seeing them much as a manager, but I just think they'll kind of continue with Mike Skabala and getting a win against Derby. That's the biggest achievement in their career so far. Then in 19th, we're going to go for Steven Schumacher. I think he's just, as a manager, he's slightly better than obviously the ones that I've listed so far in terms of my knowledge of him. Obviously got Plymouth promoted and now Bolton promoted from League One, but he is very much, bottom five quality in terms of a manager. In 18th, we're going to go for Vitor Matos. Maybe could have gone a bit higher with him, but I just think there's so many good managers in the league. Now you go from, this manager to the next lot. It is very much, a difficult one to really judge. So that's why I've put him here, because he's all right, but he's not wowed me so far. Just like the next manager, which is Julian Stefan at QPR. Again, just decent foreign manager, but not anything amazing. So, yeah, 17th for him. In 16th position, we'll go for Paul Heckingbottom. It's just where they finish, isn't it, in the table? So that's how good of a manager he is at the end of the day. Did all right at Sheffield United for a bit, and then did first half of the season great with Preston, but then just completely capitulated second half. So we've gone for him in 16th. In 15th, only been managing for how many months now? 6 or 7. It is going to be James Morrison at West Bromwich Albion. I think he's done well in his time, but we've not really seen a full season for him. So in terms of the way I've ranked this, really is what I would want at Derby County. Like if I would want this manager more than our manager. So that's kind of a good way of looking at it. If we ended up getting Paul Heckingbottom and James Morrison, I wouldn't be that impressed. So that's why I've put them where they are. In 14th, we've gone for Tony Mowbray at Blackburn. I think he's, in terms of club and manager, Mowbray's better than Blackburn, but obviously he's got the affiliation there, and we'll be able to keep them up this season. I think he's good enough and has the know-how. In 13th, we've gone for Brian Barry Murphy. Some people might have put him higher up in the table. I've not seen a lot of him, but what I have seen, I have been impressed, so that's why I've gone him in mid-table. I wouldn't be too disappointed if Derby went for somebody like that if Eustace was to go, but yeah, just smack bang in the middle. Then we do have Phil Parkinson at Wrexham. I think maybe could have gone lower, but I think he, obviously the back-to-back promotions is a great achievement with Wrexham. This is his season, though. If he doesn't get them playoffs and really has a good go at the league, he will be sacked. And somebody else will come in. So I've gone for him in 12th. In 11th, I'm going to go Mark Robins. I think Mark Robins is one of those managers that is just very middle of the table in the championship kind of thing. Like he's not anything incredible. So that's why I've put him where he is. Then we do have Michael Skubala at Bristol City. I think he's I don't know quantity in this league, so that's why I've put him where he is. Obviously, great achievement with Lincoln last year. Did lose first game of the season against Millwall, but it's going to take time for that all to gel. But yeah, overall, yeah, just 10th is fine. In 9th position, we're going to go for somebody who beat Derby. It's Nathan Jones. I think Nathan Jones is brilliant. I think he has personality, which you don't get in many managers nowadays. So that's something that helps his cause. And I think with him and Charlton won't go down as long as he's at the club. So that's, you know, with the squad that he's got, it's probably like here, and then Nathan Jones is up here, and obviously got was he the one to get Luton promoted to the Prem? I can't remember. He definitely got promoted from. He's definitely got promotions with Luton, and yeah, in terms of a manager, he's an interesting one. In 8th, we're going to go for Alex Neil at Millwall. Again, promotions with Norwich to the Premier League, and did he get Sunderland? I can't remember if he got. I don't know if he did get Sunderland promoted in the end, but yeah, he's a good manager at Millwall. Again, squad's down here, he's up here. Like, they've got a few decent players, but overall the manager is doing a lot of work there. So very, very good to get into the top 8. Then in 7th, we're going to go for Kim Hellberg at Middlesbrough. I do think he did bottle it a little bit last season in terms of going for automatics. I think he should have really, you know, got that team over the line a little bit better and pipped Ipswich to the top 2 spots, but did sadly fall, and that's why I've put him in 7th. In 6th, we're going to go for Chris Wilder. I think as long as he's at that club, they're going to finish. For me, I've put him in playoffs, so that's, you know, on the basis that Chris Wilder has a good season, and, you know, what he has achieved with Sheffield United is brilliant, really. He hasn't really worked at any other clubs, which is quite interesting. He had goes at Watford and Middlesbrough. That's the only thing that is pulling him down a little bit. But yeah, I think Chris Wilder, if he was appointed Derby manager, I wouldn't be that disappointed. In 5th position, we're going to go for probably the most out of place on this list in terms of where the club finishes in the table and how good the manager is, and that's John Mousinho. I think his next job will be really interesting, because I think what he's doing with that, when you look at it on paper, League One team in Portsmouth, there's no. I'm trying to think of a player that you'd go, yeah, that's good in that Pompey team. So I think he is achieving a lot more with what he's got. You know, it's so weak. Yeah, I'm just looking at that team. Like, name me a player in that pot. Like, who is Portsmouth's best player? Because I'm looking at it right now, and it's so. There's nothing screaming at me like, yeah, I'm really good. So yeah. In 4th position, he is very good at spying. It is Todd Eckhart. Maybe that's helping his ranking of why he did so well with Southampton last season. He got them a playoff final, in my opinion, and probably would have beaten Hull if. So in a way, he has got a promotion to the Premier League if it wasn't for the ruling from the EFL, which just seems a bit odd. I think kicking them out of the playoff final and giving Middlesbrough that spot is one of the most, I don't know, unfair decisions I've seen in a while. Because what can he really gain from watching some training sessions? Obviously, it adds to his knowledge and everything. And maybe that's why Southampton did so well. We'll see it this season without spying how he does. So, yeah, I've gone for him in the top 4. Third in the table. We've gone for John Eustace. I think John's, you know, as I said, when I look at it from who would I want as Derby County manager, there is only 2 managers I would rather have than John Eustace at the club. So that's why I've put him third in the table. He is, for what he does with players that you think are written off and just finished, it is incredible. Like Ben Brereton Diaz last season's a great example. Schmodix this season really coming into form. So that's what I really like about Eustace, is he does get something out of nothing. And, you know, what he did with Birmingham and Blackburn previously, again, a very similar situation of having crap squad and actually achieving a very good finish. In the top two then, we're going to go for the former Rangers manager in Philip Clement, who, again, with Norwich from December onwards, was the best team in the league, nearly got them into the playoffs, and should be able to do that this season without a shadow of a doubt. So, yeah, I think him and the manager in the top position are the only two that I would want over Eustace, and that's saying something to some extent. And of course, the top of the table is Nuno Espirito Santo. Yeah, I mean, he's got the best squad, which does help him a lot. But I think what he did with Wolves previously got them promoted from the Championship. When the pressure is really on, like, they have to get promoted kind of thing. And even this time at Forest, like, got Forest into Europe, which is a ridiculous achievement again. So, yeah, that's why I've gone for Nuno. I think Nuno and Philip Clement are the only two that are better than John Eustace. And I don't think that's even, like, bias at all. And genuinely, I would love to know your guys' opinions in the comments. As I said, the bottom three, kind of disregard because I haven't got a proper understanding of what they have done in the Championship so far. But overall, I think that is pretty solid. Yeah, I don't think there's anyone massively out of place. So let me know in the comments, guys. Make sure you do subscribe if you are new, and I'll catch you all next time.